All right, we're back here on our Ubuntu machine, and we're going to do a little test. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to shut it down. We're connected with remote desktop currently. As you can see, here's the remote desktop information. So we're going to say power off. And connection was disconnected. Okay, so we want to come down to BIOS setup. And as you can see here, hopefully, we want to come down, take a look at boot sequence, and it does in fact list the Western Digital SN570 250 gig solid state drive as a bootable disk for this Optiplex, which is very interesting. So I've got a couple of options at this point. I can either continue booting from the ADATA SATA drive, or I can reinstall on this machine. I can put Linux on the PCI Express card with the NVMe SSD, and then I could potentially use that ADATA SSD for another machine. Just for grins, because I don't have anything important on this machine, let's go ahead and do a new install. Before we wipe everything out, we're going to back it up using Rescuezilla. And then we've got an option to restore things if we would like. Now, I can't restore from the ADATA to the Western Digital drive because the Western Digital drive is about half the size. So that's not an option. However, being able to wipe the drives and boot from the NVMe drive is going to be great. So let's go ahead and exit the BIOS here. We'll go back to F12. Okay, and we want to boot off the USB storage device. So again, this is using real hardware. We are going to come down to Rescuezilla 241. Boot normal. And of course we want English. And again, first thing we need to do is resize display resolution. That looks better. We'll keep that. We are going to back up. We're going to back up. We're going to back up the ADATA. We're going to back up all partitions. And we're going to do shared over network. And we're going to do, and we'll set this to be SMB 3.11. And hopefully that is the right format. And we're going to browse. And we're going to make a new folder. And we're going to call this, and we'll come down here. And that all looks good. Next, short description. Okay, so we've got a description, and to save time, we are going to come right in the center and approximately the center and do 4. Say next, and next, and we're going to let it do its thing. Okay, we finished the backup, and that's great. We're going to go into GParted. We're going to delete all the partitions. So that's unallocated space. Apply. And just for the sake of argument, I don't have or didn't have anything important on this Optiplex. I just want to go through the whole process for the sake of argument and make sure that people understand what we can do with this. And the NVMe drive, that does not want to let us delete the partition, but we should be able to do that when we go to install Ubuntu. Okay, so let's reboot and spam that F12 key. And we're going to once again boot from USB storage. And let's come down to, we're going to have to live dangerously because all I've got is the Deepin edition on this USB stick. So we're going to go to Lunar Desktop. This is 2304. And hey, look at that. We've got the OEM install when we're installing on real hardware, but not when we're installing on a VM. Imagine that. So let's go ahead and do try or install. Continue. Install third party. Continue. Erase disk and install. Continue. And here we go. It automatically selected the NVMe drive. Continue. And once again, it gets my location incorrect. All right. Okay, let's see what happens. This should actually copy very quickly. Restart now. Here's the acid test. Okay. All is not lost here. So we are going to reboot, go into BIOS, check the drive order, because I bet that's the problem. Okay, so boot sequence. We're going to take that out of the boot sequence completely. We're going to move storage, USB storage up. We'll move CD-ROM up just for the sake of argument. And apply. Exit. No server is specified. And we are in. Okay. And of course, first thing we need to do, make that a little larger, and while that's doing its thing, we'll work through this wizard. Okay, we're on a physical machine. I'll go along with this for right now. Still, location services are turned off, and that's fine. What else can we do while we're here? We'll go to Ubuntu Desktop in Settings, and we're going to turn off the personal folder, because I think that's stupid in 2023. And icon size, we're going to bring that down just a bit. That looks better. Okay. For now, this will be good. 24 gigs of RAM. This is an i5 6600 and Intel Graphics 530. So not a gaming machine by any stretch, but for general use. And we are using Wayland at the current moment. And that's all right. Uname-A, we're on the 6.2 kernel, which is great. Get NeoFetch on here. Okay. Lunar Lobster Development Edition. Everything's good. Booting off the NVMe SSD in an Optiplex 7040. Now, the interesting thing is going to be, take a look at disks. Is that A data disk even showing up? Come back here. The A data is just free space. So we could do some command line foo and get this integrated into our file system. Let's take a look here. We'll come over here to file system and we'll go to the cog and we'll see if it's still benchmarking at the same rate that it was before. And yes, it is 3.2 gigabytes per second based on 100 samples. And that is pretty great. So the other thing we can do here. Okay, we want to know RDP script. This one here, changes in dev branch XRDP. New look and feel. Okay, so they are working on a version that'll work with 23.04. So it does not appear that this is ready at the current moment. Let's see what version of Firefox we're on. 111. Okay, so that has more or less completed what we wanted to accomplish today. So we want to come here, do that. Not the biggest fan of snaps, but we'll make it work. Okay, and then we've got to do sudo snap removable media. Okay, so that's fine. Let's run test. Okay, 3030 read and 1205 write. I'm okay with that. And of course it gives you the information up here that the snap version is crippled, blah, blah, blah. So that's it for now.